All right. Welcome back to M Mix. This time I have a very special guest who just released an album today. Ima, how are you doing?
Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? I'm good. I don't know why I said that, but I'm good.
Good to hear, good to hear. I mean, you just put out your biggest album to date, twice the size of your other two albums. Wild to me that because you've done that, there's been no gap of like a year. It's all been under a year in between each project, but this one is somehow double the size, with like a lot more variety, and it's a way bigger scope in general. How the fuck did you pull that off?
Good Lord, you are asking the right person. I don't know. My work ethic and I don't know, my ability to work has always just been very strong. I've always been very, I don't know. I'm autistic,
Valid.
basically.
Yeah, I get
Um,
that.
so I just hyperfixate on music, basically. Sometimes to my detriment, but it also means I make really cool things sometimes. So, ebbs and flows.
It happens. Sometimes you're in a really good mood. Sometimes you just aren't.
And all that makes music.
And
So,
all that makes music. Dog bless. Yeah. We could immediately jump into the to the show questions, which we're going to. There's plenty of stuff I want to ask about music-wise and lore-wise. Don't that there's some
I'm
burning
sure.
questions.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
but first, there's some just icebreaker questions to set the mood because
Mm.
you just did a stream where it was like 3 hours of talking about FNAF and your album. We ranked it. It was
And the album bracket. Good Lord.
oh god, don't remind me.
Controversial.
Take me apart, my beloved. But
I'm
oh,
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
my soul hurts.
A
Anyways,
hard fought battle. A hard fought battle, truly.
truly, we'll get to it. But random icebreaker question: what makes a Fortnite skin good?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like a lot of Fortnite skins, it's tricky because I feel like I don't know. They tend to do pretty well. I think just having a unique concept, and um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's interesting because I feel like a lot of the skins we get nowadays are just collaborations. Like I don't feel like we get a ton of original skins. But there's the new one that's coming out. I don't. It's like a oh god, I'm forgetting the species. It's like a gecko, and
Yeah.
that one looks dope. I'm super excited for that one. I think the best Fortnite skin would be, Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's, but, we don't all get what we want, and sometimes it's Dead by Daylight instead. But, that's how it goes.
It'll happen someday. It'll happen. Trust. Just
I'm
believe.
sure. I'm sure.
Believe. If you cope long enough, it'll work.
It's Fortnite. One of these days, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot with original Fortnite skins. It's either hit or miss. Either I use the skin because I just like one aspect of it, and it's just yeah, I'll use it, or it's like just really bland to me. It really
Yeah, I
depends on the
get that.
skin. It really
I get that
does.
too. I think also like the value matters. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like when I buy skins nowadays, I don't usually buy them for like the back blings. So like I feel like the skin itself has to be good because usually like a back bling, unless the back bling is like really cool, the skin has to be really good. Otherwise, it's not gonna matter. Because I feel like a lot of skins don't have great back blings, and I
Yeah,
feel like that is like lame.
yeah, 100%. The last skin I bought, non-battle pass related, I grind the battle
Mhm.
passes. I'm almost level 200 this season, which is no,
Hey, nice.
I've hit level 200 this season, which is insane because I've never done that. Um,
Hell yeah.
the last skin I bought was Kamiko, and the reason I did it is because
Hmm.
the next season is a Marvel season, and I'm not well, it's
Right.
rumored to be, and I'm not really a huge fan of Marvel or like the collaborations aspect, and it's just
Hmm.
eh. I wish we could
That's
have done
fair.
like a proper theme other than a Marvel season, but
That's totally fair. I will say the gameplay of the last Marvel season was probably one of my favorites, so I at least hope the gameplay is good, even if the battle pass is kind of just okay. Plus, we know that the Doctor Doom is probably going to be like a mix of a Fortnite original and Marvel, which I always like when they do that. When it's like a Fortnite original and also Fortnite and also Marvel or whatever the collab is. So it could be interesting. I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot.
yeah,
Um,
I'll give it a shot, but the battle pass I probably won't.
it's fair. That's totally fair. I just buy every battle pass because I know I'm going to complete them. So
Yeah,
it's
nah,
worth it for the V-Bucks at the very least.
worth
I
it for
am
the
glad that
V-Bucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad they're at least getting rid of the exclusivity, though. I'm
Oh
really glad it's a feature going
yeah,
forward.
I'm so happy they did that. We've talked about it before. They brought the paradigm back, and then they said, "Oh, sorry," and then they went back on the "Oh, sorry," and it's like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna be doing from now on." Even though they brought
Mhm.
back the paradigm from season X, it's
Mhm.
weird that they did that first instead of implementing the change. I guess it was, due to the meme, and they put the wrong skin in, and then that was just
Right.
like, the butterfly effect happening. But
Right.
still
So
doesn't sit
so
with
yeah,
me.
I think things like that force conversations internally. Like I don't think they were planning to drop the 16-month battle pass exclusivity thing like yesterday, or today. God, I forget. Um, but they, it sort of forces conversation like that where it's like, okay, well, we are bringing this back, so should we do this going forward? Is this something we should talk about more? So I don't know. And people have said it might have been planned. I really don't think so, but who knows? Anything's possible. I could believe it if I was given enough evidence.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel intentional to me. Um, but yeah, honestly, I feel like it's something they should have done way, 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 way sooner. Because I feel like we're so deep in now. It's like
Yeah.
there's so many iconic characters that are locked, like Spider-Man, Darth Vader, Spider-Gwen, Indiana Jones. Like you could go on and on. I think there's like 30 collab skins at the very least, just collab skins, not even original, that are like locked behind battle passes now, and
And
that is a shame,
yeah,
frankly.
yeah, I agree. And then there's also like the iconic Battle Pass skins that are just
Right.
locked, like
Hmm.
Ripley,
Yeah.
Meow Skulls, Meow
Rift.
Souls, Rift. Yeah, there's so many like iconic skins that they've made item shop versions for that have just never been available afterwards. So
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that they're doing that, but I wish they would bring like a couple of those skins back.
Yeah,
You know.
and as someone who like has basically all of them except for season two, like do it. I don't give a shit. Like I have
Yeah.
enough shit in this game. Like I don't care. The
Yeah,
exclusivity is dumb.
yeah, I 100%
Um,
agree. There's stuff in there that like I was like my friends are like that skin is me. I wish I could get it. And I'm like I'm
mm.
sorry, but it's part of a battle pass. And it's like fuck. I wish I could give them that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like exclusivity is still like cool. Like I don't know. I pride myself in having like a cool collection. Like I think it's cool. And like it's cool to be like I own something from this era of the game that can never be achieved again. Like that is still kind of cool, but I hate that it like locks things away from other people. Like I think that's sad.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Okay. Let's move on
Good
from
start.
good start. Yeah, good start. I told you we talk about Fortnite, not for 2 hours, but we
Had
talk
to
about
happen.
it.
I
Now
could.
this next question is more targeted towards your music and like for
Hmm.
someone who's completely new. What is the best order to listen to your projects if you're completely new to listening to
Oh,
IMA? Because you have a
that's
lot
a
of
really good question.
albums, a lot of EPs, and there's a lot of variety in there.
Oh gosh. I actually have been thinking about this a little bit. Um, so off the top of my head, I've wanted to write like a not like a required, but like a listening order for IMA at some point. I think for perspective, 1, 2, 3, I think is a good starting place, but also I don't think it's like perfect. So I think I don't know. I've considered like Forever for Now, To the Show, 1, 2, 3 as like the album listening order. But I don't know, God, because like or like Forever for Now, 1, 2, 3 To the Show. I don't know. I feel like 1, 2, 3 is such like a weird album, and like I love it to
Yeah.
death. But like, and I said this on stream earlier, like there's like 5 songs on the album that like are really like standalone, and the rest kind of just fit around the album, which is great. It's great for an album, like as like a concept, but like they don't really stand alone very well. While I think Forever for Now is so like tightly written that it's like really strong in that regard, like every idea is really solid, and then To the Show is just so broad that it can be overwhelming. So like I don't know if I'd lead with that, even though I think it's my best project. I don't know. It's hard. It's tricky. But then like some of those things like Bartlett, which I think are great and everyone should listen to. Sleepy Birdie is a great ambient project that I'm super
Yeah.
super proud of. Jester Club's a good prelude for Forever for Now. It's alright EP. I don't know. There's like a lot. So there's like I really want to just like write it all out. So I can be like, this is the order you should listen to things in.
Yeah.
But I really think just like jumping in and trying like seeing what like sticks out to you like visually, because it probably will sound like what it looks like if I did things right.
Yeah.
um, so I don't know. I pride myself in having a lot of variety. So I want people to find sort of whatever they'd like from me. and sort of just take that into their own, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree with like the take of like 1, 2, 3 is very out there, and to the show is very like just a lot in terms of just music. I if I were to do a listening guide, I think I would start with Forever for Now, just as
Mm,
like this covers all the bases from like the weird ambient and personal stuff
mm.
that's on there to the musical bops that you would find on like To the Show. And
Yeah,
those intersect, of course. It's part of every I'm a project, but
right.
I Forever for Now is like the most. It's the most you project in a way, because it's like
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's just it seems like the perfect starting point. And then if you like the more ambient and like personal stuff, 1, 2, 3 is right there, along with
Right.
Sleepy Birdie and the It's Alright EP right before 1, 2, 3. And then if you
Mhm.
like the more musical stuff, like, proper songs and all that, there's To the Show, which has 24 of them, 25 if you look at the Bandcamp. Uh,
Well, well, well.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah,
Don't
I
get ahead
know.
of yourself.
11 minutes in, I'm already bringing up hidden tracks. Oh, God.
Oh God.
Oh, God. Yeah. It's a fun question because
Uh-huh.
unlike the last person I interviewed, Spencer, he only had one album and like a
Right.
couple of other songs. But now I have someone who I've listened to for a while and has multiple projects out, so we can have fun questions like this.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I definitely I love her for now. And I definitely think that is a good intro point for people. I also think Martlet is a good intro point, short and sweet.
True. I forgot
And
about
has
Martlet. Fuck.
yeah, low key fair, honestly. It kind of slipped under the radar because it came out in the midst of all of To the Show stuff, but it has that little bit of ambient, it has that sort of musical bop stuff. It's definitely like, lower energy, but
Yeah.
it's what it needed to be, I think, at the time I wrote it, and it was beautiful.
hmm I
Um
I
yeah.
agree. All right, last icebreaker question before we get into the giant heap of To the Show questions. This one's a broad one, and it's also another big one. What does furry music mean to you?
Ooh, oh God, good one. Um, so I don't know. I've always sort of defined it as just furry or just music made by furries. I don't know. Because obviously there's the big debate, which isn't really a debate. It's kind of just one person who I won't name,
Yeah,
who
no,
thinks that
100.
it should be, yeah, yeah, who thinks it should be, in your aesthetics or in your like words or things like that, which like is a fair stance. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't know. There was their take where they said like FNAF music was not furry music because from their perspective it was like all about the survival and not about the furry characters, which sort of shows a lack of understanding and also a lack of looking into the music you're talking about because I mean, I don't know. I think about To the Show, and it's very much a character-driven album. Like, sure, there's a little bit of that stuff in it, but of course there was going to be. That's, part of the fun of FNAF. Like, I wanted to have a little bit of stuff referencing that. But, like, it really is a character album and, like, a concept album that speaks on that. I realize I'm getting away from the question of it, so let me
No, no,
bounce
no.
back.
You're fine.
Uh,
I was gonna bring it
um,
up later, actually, but
well, we can always get back to it too. But
yep.
but yeah, so furry music, I think just fur music made by furry. I feel like it's dumb to sort of group it any other way because there's so much variety in the fandom and there's so much like room for interpretation in all of it. Here's the thing, like you think of I don't know, feather entanglement, like I'm not like, yeah, I'm a bird. I'm so bird. But like the feeling that song gives me is just like so it's so furry. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like you have like
Yeah.
just listening to it, I get sucked into this world of just like ambient furry warmth is the best way I can describe it for me. And of course that's for me. But and I guess even in that like the cover is still furry. But I don't know. It just yeah I think it's silly to group it any other way. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I have the same opinion. It's music made by furries because, like, even I'm a furry myself, but most of my music is not really about being a furry at all. It's more about my
Mhm,
feelings and emotions. And sure, being a furry could play a part in that, but
mhm.
there's more to it than that. I mean, plenty of artists, like, let's see, naming off the top of my head, all the furry artists that I know that don't write about being a furry. We have Aerith, I think that's how you spell it.
Mm.
We'll say it. And then there's Goji. What else? What else? Worldwide Wolf. There's so many artists out there that just are furries. and they just make music, and it's just furry music. That's all it is.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I will say in the case of like Goji and stuff like that, like one of the talking points that that person discussed was the visual aspect and things, and like Goji has a lot of furry
Yeah,
art, and Worldwide Wolf has some, not as much, not I'd say it's more in the name, but
yeah,
um, so I don't know. That's where it gets kind of tricky because like I understand what they're saying, but I feel like it just comes off as exclusionary, which isn't something that I think the fandom prides itself on. And not that I even necessarily feel like I'm super like connected to the fandom side of things anymore, or just I don't know in general. But I don't know. It's sort of the space. I don't know. Again, it's just exclusionary. It's not necessary. What's the point?
yeah. Like of course the aesthetic. I mean, looking at our profile pictures right now, we have an eye dog axolotl and Foxy the pirate. Of course, it's part of our visual aesthetic, but is that really necessary?
No.
Because we
Yeah.
have bands like the Glass Beach, right? The singer
True.
of Glass Beach, Jay,
Yeah. That's
well,
true.
she's a furry.
Uh-huh.
It's and it's not really integral of Glass Beach at all, but it's just a fact out there. So does that make Glass Beach furry music? Maybe. Who knows? It depends on who you ask. And it's just, it's weird to be. It's such a weird conversation. Just let people label themselves how they want is
Yeah.
the best way to put it. I think it's a person
Yeah.
by person cases.
And exactly, and like again, it just feels strange coming from a fandom that prides itself so much on inclusivity, and it sort of speaks, I feel, to a bigger concern that isn't. Again, I don't know. This is this is the fandom where you can be a bright red like dog and just like paddle around and just be like yourself and be weird and be whatever you want to be. That's kind of a specific example, but you get what I mean. Just you can be
Yeah.
whatever you want. So then like, and then this is more of a broader issue. Like, why are people in this fandom like homophobic or transphobic or racist or like things
Yeah.
like that? It's like this entire fandom is based on inclusivity and being the outlier. Why do like certain people just think they can insert themselves and be like, actually, no, cis white people have always been the base of the fandom. No.
Yeah, it's wild. I
Yeah, and not
um,
just just the cis white people either. Like
yeah.
people rock with me. I rock with you too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as long as you're not trying to infringe on my rights.
Absolutely. There are some amazing cis white people out there. You wonderful people. Keep doing you. Please do not delete us from everyday
Yeah,
life. Please.
true
Okay.
that.
Wasn't expecting that to go all the way there, but hey, fun conversation. Uh,
Fair enough.
let's talk to the show finally. Like 18 minutes in, what we're gonna be spending the
Oh
majority of this.
yeah, that's what we're here for.
Okay. All right. So I touched on this earlier. Like I said, I was gonna bring it up. You
Mhm.
said that To the Show is more of a character album, and it doesn't really bring up like the story of FNAF, like the mainline story more that much. Like it's referenced a couple times, but
Mhm.
there's not like an emphasis. It's more about the characters, like the
Mhm.
animatronics themselves. And for a FNAF album, you wouldn't really expect that, but you kind of also do. Do you mind elaborating on that more? Like why you didn't really focus on like the lore, like William Afton and the dead kids, but you focused more on the animatronics themselves?
So I don't know. It's a direction I considered for a while. There are a few songs that had like more things like that. I had a song that was basically going to be like a William Afton theme, and things like that. But it didn't really feel necessary for the story I was trying to tell, which is more just about almost like small moments, which I feel like is not something the fandom really, I don't know, or the FNAF scene really had like a chance to speak on. I don't know. I think at least in the music I listen to from it, like a lot of the stuff is just like the big moments. Like it's like William Afton getting spring locked, or it's like the happiest day and things like that, which are all great moments, and it even is referenced in my thing, like the world acclaimed "Just Want to Say Thank You," as according to our bracket, is is technically a reference to happiest day and stuff like that. But I did it in a way that I felt conveyed, I don't know, just a more intimate moment than just like this grand event that happened, because like in that story it wouldn't have been a grand event, it just would have been that conclusion. I don't know, I feel like the story gets blown out a little bit, and I feel like I wanted to pull back and sort of just focus on like more intimate character moments.
Yeah.
But again, not to say that I didn't reference like Night Guard is a great like game type song, or like We Are FNAF is a very like survivally, like literally mentions like William Afton and stuff like that. So I don't know. I kind of went both ways on it, but yeah.
Yeah, like of course with some songs like "Hello Again,"
Mm.
referencing Mike Schmidt and all that, and
Mhm.
Afton. There, yeah, I think it means more that the characters that like the animatronics are more like characters than they are just beings that just kind of happen. Like they're just kind of there. The way you characterize them gave this album so much more strength, and I of course, Take Me Apart, Mangled. God, oh, you,
I'm
you,
very happy that song resonated with you.
oh, it resonates. Oh
We'll have to
God,
talk about that at some
we're
point too.
we're gonna
We'll
talk
get
about
there.
it sometime soon. I don't know if we'll do it in this interview because it hits in a way I don't feel comfortable talking about.
Absolutely. No, that's totally fair.
But it will be brought up eventually. I'm sure of it.
Fair enough.
Um, okay, so basic album questions. What song was the hardest to write?
Song was the hardest to write. Okay, I'm looking at my track list because I knew I was going to have a question like this. I needed to think about it. I'm off the top of my head. I'm going to say Captain's Log, which is Foxy's theme.
Yes.
That song took me. I had that instrumental the second half for the longest time, and I just couldn't get words to it. I didn't know what was so difficult, but it was really hard for me. I think because Foxy is like such an important character to me, so I was like, I want to make sure I personify you correctly in the way that makes like me happy. But then I can talk about this a little bit because it's cool. The first leg of that song, which is a very unique section, you know it's very different from the rest of it, was a jam session recording that I did with Noghead and Ethab in Ethab's studio. So all of that was live
Ooh.
drums and live keys and a live synth that Nog was playing. So Ethab was on drums, I was on synth, and or sorry, Nog was on synth and I was on an organ that Ethab just happened to find on the street. It's a whole story. Anyway, the whole story. But I was recording that session, and just like while we were like doing it, and it's like a 40-minute session. There's a lot more to that, and it's really cool. But that section when we were playing that section, I was like, oh, this is so Foxy. Like I couldn't describe it to myself, but I was like, this is such like a Foxy. It just felt like a shanty or something. It just felt so right to me. So then I put it in the front. I recorded some lyrics on top of it, and then had to do that little like delay reverb transition into the rest of the song. And then things started clicking because once I recorded that first part with the lyrics on that, I felt like I could get into character more and really like hone in on it. But getting over that hurdle was definitely the hardest part for me.
Yeah, I love that beginning section so much. It reminds me.
It's so
I
nice.
I mentioned it in Discord while we were listening to the album for the first time.
Uh,
Um, back in fifth grade, only for 1 year, and it's where I got most of my like rhythmic sensibilities. I joined my band's. Yeah, I just joined a band in my high school. Well, not high school. My school. And I was the percussionist, so that means I was playing the snare, like the drums, just drums, marimbas, pretty much everything that had to do percussion-wise. And it took me back to that moment, well, to just playing with the snare drum and just goofing about and just doing. There's this there's this one kid. He only was there for like 1 year. His name was like Trip or something. He was like, he had so much swag. Dude was wearing bomber jackets. He was the only other percussionist other than me. He joined halfway through the year, and he was so cool. And that song reminds me of him, and it just reminds me of those memories. And
Aw.
I don't know if that was intentional. It's not. It's definitely not. But it took
Well,
it hit me in the gut. This
well, I certainly wasn't trying to reference a certain kid named Trick that I never knew, but
yeah.
um, but there is like a very like free formness to it that definitely reminds me of like band. I was never in band, but I was a choir kid, so I totally understand that like sort of goofing off, just like dicking around in a music class sort of feel.
Yeah.
Because we would do that shit all the time too. Um, but yeah, no, so I hear that.
Yeah, it was specifically with the dicking around moments. Before before school started, we had like 15 or 30 minutes to do what we wanted. So we could either go to the gym where we would just sit down and do nothing, or we could go into the band room and practice. And instead of practicing, me and Trip would go into like one of the soundproof rooms with like a whole ass drum kit and just bang out the tunes. And it was
Fun.
ah, it brings me back. It hit me right in the gut there. So
This
I'm
isn't
ha- oh
Sorry, you go.
I'm just happy that like this album hits me in ways and brings me back to memories that aren't even really connected to FNAF, but it just takes me back to my childhood, and ugh, even though I'm
That's
still a
all I
child.
wanted. I recognize this album isn't going to be accessible for most people in that way, like in FNAF. Obviously, I knew writing this was going to be sort of what's the word, exclusionary, but or maybe I don't know, just it was going to push some people away. But even if you don't like FNAF, I just really want it to resonate like childhood in some ways, or just it has a lot of emotions in it. Obviously, not just like childhood nostalgia, even though that's clearly a very big one. But so I'm glad that came through for you because that's definitely important. This isn't related to to like choir at all. But I remember I was in choir and we were playing 1-2 switch on my switch that I had because our teacher would let us do that sometimes. He just didn't care very much. And actually, two of the features on We Are FNAF, which is My Ribs Are Fine, and Gare Bear, which are my friends Liam and Garrett, were there. And my friend Garrett, because the game's very like you're using like the Joy Cons a lot. He ended up flinging my Joy Con across the room and it almost broke, and I was so scared. But I just remember that's just a very specific memory I have, just like standing in front of the bleachers, like swinging like these like fake swords around because it's 1-2 switch, and then it just flung my controller like halfway across this big ass room and hit a
Oh
wall, and I was
hell
like,
yeah!
"Fuck!"
No, I did the same thing. Like this happens at the end of like every school year. The past couple of years, I just bring my Switch and just play games. Oh man, there was this one time, one Mario Party match, 9 stars. Don't even ask me how. It was,
Damn.
yeah. I just got extremely lucky there. Ugh. I'm glad someone else is just like, yeah, bring in the console. You're bored.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, off topic, not related to the question at hand. Is that the same Garrett that?
Yes, yes, it is. And actually, there is this is another fun fact I haven't mentioned yet. In Captain's Log, there's actually a Garrett sample too. There's a sample where
Oh.
it's from that same stream too. If you don't know, there was a big stream where my friend Garrett called us and was drunk while we were playing Fortnite and was just saying the nicest things. He was such a sweetheart. Um, but and it was really like I don't know. It was really fun, really
Mm-hmm.
bonding. But there's a sample where he says like I'm in the hallway again or something, and it's mixed in there
Oh
in
yeah.
Captain's Log. If you listen, it's right after the I don't know. It's one of like the pirate noises. It's in the background. I can find the timestamp later if you
Yeah.
want. I don't remember offhand.
I want to check.
Um,
I want to check it out. But I think I remember hearing it
there's
just offhand.
Probably there's so much stuff like that in the album. There's so many just like little noises or like little like recordings or little things that I've sampled all over the project. I'm sure I could talk about that alone forever because
Oh.
I was so granular about wanting things like that, just like little things that meant to me at the very least.
Oh, that's. God. Everybody say thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, Garrett. Well, I mean, very,
Hmm.
very, very happy he's on there.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Actually, since we're on the topic of like specific songs, and we just did a
Hmm.
bracket where you wanted to like, there were moments where it's like we want to talk about these specific songs, and I don't remember the names of them because it was like rapid fire. There was like 5 of them mentioned. Captain's Log was one of them. I think
Hmm.
Just Want to Say Thank You was the other one that I remember clearly that you wanted to talk about. Is there any fun samples in there that you want to like
Oh,
elaborate?
let me think. Sorry, I'm forgetting. Obviously there's the Balloon Boy samples, and
Yeah.
there's the Phantom Mangle sample. It's being chopped a lot. I'm forgetting. Shoot. Oh, okay. That one's fun for lore reasons. That one's less fun for sample reasons. But I guess I can kind of just talk about this. I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether I want to be candid or like mysterious about these
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. But there's some like lore questions at the end I want to ask, but I don't know if
of
you're gonna
course.
answer them or not.
Well, we'll figure it out in
We'll
time.
see.
But I mentioned that it's in the text that I used for the teasers, and it's supposed to be the text for the canvases, but I can't get to the canvases because it's on the wrong Spotify right now. So there's supposed to be canvases with a little bit of extra lore in each post, but I
Oh.
can't post them right now.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's basically the same stuff that was in the everyday post I did for a while. But
Oh.
so so yeah, the idea behind just want to say thank you is like the happiest day, like the souls leaving and like sort of being freed. But the sample is meant to convey the souls sort of chopping up and making this little sample loop from like an old recording or something like that. And then that would be then transmitted through the old radio, which is the radio from the
The
ARG,
radio, the
um,
radio. Oh.
which is the so if you know, that's a thing. So it's the radio is meant to be that's meant to be like the conduit. That's sort of what the radio is, and I can talk about the radio a little bit too. The radio is meant to be sort of a conduit for the I don't want to say anything about them yet, but the group that is sort of connecting these two and us. So it's meant to be sort of like the fourth wall bridge a little bit. So that it's and I guess I'll say this too, just I guess for clarity. It's also referenced in Bonnie, and it's also referenced in
Yeah.
there's another song I'm forgetting about that also references it. Looking and thinking. Oh, Get Connected. That's a big one. That also references the
Oh
radio.
yeah, it's called Get Connected, of course. Fucking.
Yeah. If you listen, you'll hear the little noise that we used a lot in Transmission One.
Yeah. Oh, that's
All throughout both of those songs, or all three of those songs, and it's scattered in a few other places too. But those are the three that come to mind off the top of my head.
Oh, finally. God, I was gonna ask about the radio. Fuck. That was like one of my biggest. That was like my white whale of like things I want to know more about, but I'll never know because I'm just gonna be mysterious about it until it's time. Thank
That one
God.
I want to be more clear about because I was very vague about in stuff, and I realized that. And you know, I'm not perfect, and my ARG stuff is not perfect, but I was trying my best to convey stuff. But that's but then also there's things like in Bonnie's audio logs from the TS stuff was you could hear like the mangle and stuff like that. So I was starting to sort of imply that all like the timelines were coming together because that was sort of a big thing that I was trying to go for too. Yeah, so there's stuff like that. I don't want to spoil everything, but there's some tidbits for you.
I'm glad that we're finally getting clarity. Like, for clarity. But yeah.
Oh my god, my favorite song.
I'm.
Yeah.
I doubt that, but it's still an important song. That's not to
It's
the show
important.
though. It's a album from well, over a year ago now. Wild.
Not 2 years ago yet though. Close though.
Close. I was about to say a couple of years ago. Nope. Only about like a year and a half.
God, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's what your work ethic is insane.
I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking about it earlier, and fucking Feather Entanglement is older than 123, and for some reason that's crazy to me because that feels like a Forever From Now era song, which it is technically, but like the fact that it came out before 123, that just, I don't know. That's so surprising to me. Like I don't know, I can't fathom that, even though I know that's the truth.
Yeah. I'm very jealous of your work ethic because it's like you're able. No, I'm not gonna rant about it. But yeah, you're able to create so much to the point where like you've said it before, where it's a detriment, but it's also like so good because it's like 3 albums, no year gap, and then there's several EPs in between that. Then there's the live shows, DJ sets, and all the other stuff. The websites. You do so much shit.
And
It's
all the music I
insane.
haven't released.
Oh yeah, and all the music you haven't released. Oh, don't get me started
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about it a lot. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so. I mean, I guess I am just like hyper fixated on it because of like ADHD stuff, which is like a good thing until it's not. I've been in like
Yeah.
a job search for the last like few months, and it's been rough for me because it's hard for me to tear myself away from it all. But I've been trying my best to at least do like one cover letter a day and trying to get stuff out because I don't know, it's hard for me. But
Yeah,
you know,
understandable.
I'll figure it out. I got time.
All
So
right.
a little bit.
Okay, so this time these next couple of questions are more about like the structure of the album and like how it was made. Specifically, you worked with a lot more collaborators than you usually do. Well, a lot more than like I think there's more collaborators on this project than 123 and Forever For Now combined.
It sounds right. Yeah.
So, what was it like? Is there any fun stories you'd like to tell that, won't get you in trouble, hopefully?
It won't get me in trouble. Honestly, I'm trying to think of the best way to word this because despite the fact that I've worked with more people than I have in like any other project, this project felt the most isolating to me, which is very interesting because I don't know, I feel like so much of it was so personal and so much of it was so like about things that I wanted to talk about And it felt like people were coming in to sort of like help guide certain visions and like certain ideas, and specifically like to provide voices and production and things like that. But when the downtime was there and I was writing everything else, I don't know. It felt very, you know, like isolating, like I was kind of saying, and there was a lot to say about that. But getting to work with everyone was great. Everyone, for the most part, was punctual and was. There's some little hiccups, but we made it through and everything's
Yeah.
out. It's okay. Getting to meet and work with Bonnie was so great. I love Bonnie so much. They're
Yeah.
such a good friend. And I said this earlier too, off stream, but they really are like a third eye on everything. They sat down and listened, and we talked about everything. I laid out everything. I laid out all the websites. I laid out every song. I talked about everything to them, and they just sort of like took it all in and like helped me figure it all out. And so they were really great to work with. But getting to work with Zelda again was great. Getting to work with 10 Stars properly for the first time was great. Spencer Raymond, my goat.
Spencer.
Um, oh my gosh, Cry is so good. Cry is so good.
Ah, cry.
Well,
Don't.
every collab song is good. There's no
Yeah.
misses on those. But,
There's no misses on the
um,
album entirely. I'm gonna be honest. Like I
that is
said,
true.
with like Forever for Now, I can easily pick out like the back half of the album. Best word. There's like 6 songs in a row. Amazing. For 1, 2, 3. After the first song, there's like 6 songs. Like I think it's a story about a canary and an owl, and then all the way up to like Love Bear, Mountain Live Respite. That's like the best run on that album. But here, I can't name anything because either I leave out like 2 songs that are like really good, or I leave out like this whole giant section. It's hard and it's really good.
Hmm. Yeah, and yeah, wow. Specifically with Spencer though, it was so nice. I basically just laid out my concept for like the narrative I was trying to tell, and he basically just cranked out Cry. Like I will not lie, I did not have that much input on the song. He basically just did it, and I was like, what the fuck? This is exactly what I was looking for. And that was crazy. But one of my favorite details about Cry is the whole melody is actually an interpolation of it's called the Bonnie song. It's a famous FNAF song. But there's like a guitar melody in that song that's like a little like chopped guitar melody, and he fucking interpolated that whole thing into a song, and it's like a little guitar loop. It's like a little like 8 bar basically, and he just took those chops and turned those chords and just made that into like the melody, which is perfect because it's the Bonnie song and it's
Yeah.
Bonnie's song, and it's like oh my god, and it was so
Yeah.
cool because I was like that's such a fun, oh that was such a fun like just thing to have happen, because I kind of guided him that way, but it was like seeing him realize it was like, oh, yes, exactly, perfect. And he just got it, and he talked about it, and it was just like he embraced that. If he just like full sended
Yeah.
it and took it 100% seriously, that it made a great result, and it did. And he didn't worry about being cringy or anything like that. He
Yeah.
just told the story that we both wanted to tell, and it was perfect.
Yeah, like I said, I was gonna bring it up in the Discord. If I read back a bit with Henrold and Spencer talking about like they
Mm.
took their bits 100% seriously. Like the bit was taking it seriously until it wasn't even a bit anymore. It was just taking it as seriously as they could.
And I really appreciated that because I am taking this seriously, and it was very
Yeah,
important to me. So I'm glad that even if maybe it was funny for them at first, or maybe it was a bit for them at first, like they ended up still taking it seriously in the end, and it ended up being perfect. Like, and Henrold too. Like Henrold's verse is amazing, and I love Henrold's verse so much. Um,
absolutely. Are
yeah,
are we,
yeah.
are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna bring up Henrold's
It's
second?
I don't know how to talk about it because
Yeah,
I feel bad about it, sort of, but I don't know. I
yeah,
don't really want to talk about
yeah.
it.
Let's
I'm
not.
sorry. I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
Henrold.
Henrold, we're but pretty much everyone who like listened to, we're all so sorry.
I'm sorry, Henrold. But I
Uh,
appreciate you being nice about it, good about it.
all
Uh,
right. And
yeah.
the other thing I was gonna bring up with Spencer specifically.
Mm,
So the song Nostalgia I'm working on with
mm,
Henrold and Spencer, he has written his verse. I looked at it. I haven't heard it like in context because I'm waiting on Henrold.
right.
Um, but looking at the lyrics, Jesus Christ, that
Okay. if you're gonna give anyone work ethic, he is such a fast and like detailed songwriter. God, it drives
Yeah.
me crazy.
D-
That's the part I struggle with the most is writing lyrics. He just bangs out songs like they're nothing, and not to say that he doesn't care or anything. He's so like
Yeah.
precise about it, but it's so good. He's such a good songwriter, and oh man. And if you
Yeah.
haven't listened to A Moment to Pivot On, get on that because it's like the
Listen
album of the year basically.
listen to A Moment to Pivot On, please, for the love of God. Buy the seat. Well, actually no.
You can't buy the CD
If
unless you're
you're
in.
if you're in Australia, buy the CD. If you're not in Australia, I'm sorry, just stream the album, buy it on Bandcamp, please. It's so goddamn good. But yeah, he wrote his verse like a couple days, and it was so damn good. I am so ready for that song to get together.
Mhm.
Um, anyways, next question. Let's talk about the album structure because oh
Mhm.
my fucking god, this album flows so well despite the variety on it. I mean, there's three distinct sections. I wonder, were those always planned, or were you building it just and realized, oh wait, these are like three distinct sections, might as well just do that.
It was sort of intentional. I wanted to. I mean, it's so the album's to the show, right? Like, I wanted to kind of structure it like a play a little bit with like ebbs and flows. So obviously, if you do explicitly, but the first half, or sorry, the first third is supposed to be very like uplifting, joyous. It's got like more
Hmm.
emotional moments, but overall, it's more just like fun. And then the second half is obviously, or sorry, second third is always more like bassy and sort of like grimy, a lot heavier in terms of like the production. It can still be fun, but it's still like just like a much more aggressive. While the third was is very contemplative and a lot more. I wouldn't say necessarily like calm, but just I wanted people to like just sort of contemplate on it and like think on it. And I think, um, yeah, it's like more ambient in like ways, and so it was always kind of planned. I always wanted to sort of do that. It wasn't not necessarily like from day one, but like as I was writing songs, I was like, okay, as I would write songs, it kind of fit into like these three, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I view it as like the first third is like the calm before the storm, the second is the storm itself, the third is just a hug. You you can view
I like that.
you can either view the hug as like a happy like earned hug, or you can like it's a sad hug. It depends. Honestly, this album varies like in day to day. Like you could listen to this album in a good mood and it's like, oh, it's so fucking good. Yeah, I'm in vibes, dancing. And then the next day you're in like a very not good mood. You listen to it, you feel happier, but you also just like it hits your emotions more. And I'm,
Mhm.
it's so
And I
good.
love it for that. I love it for that because like when we were doing the bracket, it was really nice to see that everyone like wouldn't agree with anyone. And I genuinely mean that because it meant that things resonated with people that didn't resonate with others. And I think I said this at some point, like I wanted at least one song I wanted one song to resonate with everyone, like one thing that was like, oh, I love this. This is really good. And for me, it's all of them. Like I love every song on this album. It's a very like hyper specific music palette for me. It's basically just everything I love. Like, I missed a few things, but basically everything I
Yeah.
love in music. Um, so just like it's obviously a cohesive project and it flows perfectly and all that. But I want also people to like be able to take it apart and yeah, well, okay, well, um, uh, and be able to like pick out singles and be like, yeah, this is my favorite song, and like I'm okay with that. I don't want everyone to love every song. If they do, that's really cool, and I'm really happy. But if people love like certain songs, then that's good too. I'm content with all of that.
Yeah.
Um, like I'm getting away from the question a bit. I
No,
forget what you said originally.
the question was more about the song structure and all that, but you've answered the question, and it's more like, oh, well, yeah, it was more just about, yeah, it was about the song structure, but we kind of moved on from that, and we just flowed into like a natural conversation. Fuck it, keep going. Um, with the bracket itself, I'm very happy. Like, it's weird how much I agreed with either you or Panna. I think most of the time I agreed with you on a lot of songs. And then, of course, sometimes I had to see two of my babies fight, and that sucked.
It did
Oh,
suck. God, that
I,
last one was so hard.
oh yeah. I
I'm
feel
so
like
sorry about that.
if the if the bracket was like randomized a different seed, I feel like A Child's Dream would still win. Yeah,
Yeah.
spoilers for that whole bracket stream if the VOD ever goes up or something. Well, the VOD is up. You can
We'll
look at
see.
it. Um,
Yeah.
A Child's Dream won, which is fair. It's important song. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's important to me where it doesn't matter if it's my favorite or not. It hits.
Honestly, don't know if it's my favorite either, but I need to think about that more. It's definitely a very important song to me, though, for sure.
Yeah. Um, I feel like all the other results could have like been different. Hooked
Oh,
probably could have made
100%.
it way farther. So did
Yeah.
Nose Goes could have made it farther. Oh God,
Cry could
Nose
have been
Goes.
better.
Ah, yeah, Cry could have made it further. Yeah, there's a lot of songs where it was just, yeah, this song could have made it further, but it got placed in between like a really, another really good song and another really good song, and I just
Yeah.
hate it.
And that's the perfect analogy for the album. So it's like everything works out. Some
Yeah,
songs will be great some days, some will be bad others. And you'll find what you like when you like it, when you need it, and all that's perfect.
yeah. Where we can go into the lore questions, but if you want to talk about like another song that we just haven't brought up yet, there's 24 of these things. You feel free.
I
If
could
the,
really go through all of them. Everything's got so much everything to me. So you're giving me a loaded gun here. It's a little tricky.
yeah,
I will
yeah,
say, I will say a few things because I didn't want to skip out on any of my other features because I didn't mention some of them. Velospace was so great, and I basically came to him with the idea. I was like, I want to make like an EDM banger, like an EDM song that was like really like EDM-y. And he produced like the main melody. And I did some of the production around it, but he like made the melody for the song. Um, the latter half, which is probably my favorite part of the song, the last section, where it's like kind of bossa nova-y,
yeah.
I think we literally just like joked like, what if we added a jazz section to the song? And then he wrote that initial section, and I was like, holy shit, this is literally exactly like the sound fonts and like the sounds from Pizzeria Simulator. So then we used that melody for one of the sections. So like that. So one of the melodies in that song is just the Pizzeria Simulator melody. It's from I don't remember the exact song, but it's like one of the main themes, which I thought was really cool because I was like, I want to reference FNAF more like explicitly, but I don't want to be like annoying about it. So it's cool to like be able to like kind of use that and then interpolate it into its own thing for the song, and still have it like make sense.
Yeah.
So but Velas is great, and I love working with him.
Velaspace,
Yeah.
Doug Goat. I love Velaspace. The Goat, the homie. Cannot wait to see him
Soon enough.
soon enough.
I'm trying to think. About it. And then Noghead. Noghead is always great, of course. Fox and the Puppet is a very personal song for us. It was always going to be. There's a lot in that song, a lot of specific references to like our life. That song is literally just meant to be like, this is because we basically grew up with FNAF together, like for the first few years of it. So like there's a lot of attached memories there. There's specifically a line where he says, "Walking down the berry trails, talking about lore or speaking about lore," or something like that, and it's specifically referencing a specific trail near us. Or where we used to live. There's a full name, which I won't say because it'll dox me. But
Yeah.
the latter half is Barry. We almost used the full name in the song, but we didn't end up doing that. So like there's things like that where it's like a specific reference. Like he didn't just say that to like give a visual image. Like it is like an actual place and like an actual thing. And those things like there's a lot in that song. I could get into that. That's the whole thing. Yeah, and then my friends collaborating on We Are FNAF was super fun. And then Possum Point was great and helped me with some guitar riffs on Now the Stage is Set. And then we even met up to do some stuff, which didn't end up making it out, but might make it out eventually. And then 10 Stars on Go Go was obviously part of the all-nighter, but ended up working out. And Zelda was really fun to get in the studio with and record. Even if we didn't ever end up getting to finish that song with a full verse with them, but I actually am really happy with what came out of it with my own stuff at the end, and I still think that stuff is some of my best vocals. I think that's all the features, unless I'm missing someone. And we talked about Henry already.
Yeah, and we've talked about Bonnie already.
Talked about Bonnie already. I think we're good. I think we have everyone. And if I miss you somehow, somewhere, and there's all the like the little features too, like the little help, which I have linked, and I actually have a credit document, which I want to post somewhere that has like every like little sample and not everything obviously, but all like the features at the very least. Everyone that I used samples from and things. So I'm gonna post that eventually. That has like more credit. I think that's everything though for that.
That's really cool. Specifically talking about you and Nog. Ooh, you know my opinions on you and Nog as like a duo, as like the combo, the duo, the best to ever do it together. There's I'm ahead. I'm cannot wait for the day you guys finally decide to do an album together.
Yeah, when
It's
we have time, we're not doing our own things.
yeah.
But we'll always be bouncing off each other's projects. There's a project that he's working on. There's obviously 100 projects he's working on, but there's one that he's excited about that I'm definitely going to be doing production on at some point. There's some stuff happening soon regarding ETHAB, which might have all of us a little bit, not telling anything else about that. But
Ooh, neat.
also, ETHAB album in 2 days, which is exciting. But that's
Yeah,
not related to this.
n-
Um,
not
still excited now.
related, not related, but very excited regardless. I'm ooh, the
It's very
cover
good.
art and everything. Oh, I'm very
It's very good.
oh. All right. Um, we're 50 minutes in. It hasn't felt like 50 minutes, and I don't really
It has
care if
not.
I don't really care if we go over the hour limit. It's not even a limit at this point. We could just keep on
You said
going.
two. I can do two. I'm
We
here
can
for
do
it. Whatever,
two.
whatever you want to ask. I'm in
We
the hot
can
seat. I'm
we can
good.
we can do two, and we can go into the lore questions if you're ready for it. I don't have to.
Absolutely.
We don't have to ask the radio question because that's been
Uh
answered already.
huh.
Let's talk about Mangle. Even though I know
Okay.
a lot about Mangle already, there's this one thing that keeps popping up between in character Ima and I'm specifying in character Ima for this and Mangle. What was the agreement between you two?
Oh. How do I answer this question? The best way to answer this question is to not answer this question. But you're putting me in the hot seat, so I'm trying to think of an answer that would make you happy.
Don't
um,
worry about pleasing me. If you can't answer it without spoiling something, don't answer. I'll it'll be my other white whale, but I'm fine with it.
that's probably the best I can give you. Unfortunately,
Damn.
I know. I know you've been wanting to know that answer for a while.
Yeah, it's one of my big answers. For context, because I want to rant about it myself.
Feel free.
The reason I'm so attached to Mangle and Take Me Apart specifically is the lore and build up to it. Basically, Ima got possessed. Well, in character, Ima got possessed by Mangle for a bit, took over the website and all that jazz. Basically, if you found an error page, right, like beginning of the thing, you saw this page with Mangle on it, like distorted. I think it was like I don't. It was probably just a promo image. I don't think it was used for anything else other than that. It was used for the teaser
Hmm.
and all that.
Yeah.
If you found that and then you moved on, you saw the branch and all that jazz, and that's how you saw the. You call them TS. I'm wondering if that's just transmission or if it's something different. I have no idea.
That I can
Um,
answer if you want.
I want to hear the names of that, like, so I can use it.
So, oh god, it fluctuated a bit while I was writing it, and it was kind of answered in the final letter before the album, but it ended up settling on I'm stream. It was meant so basically
Oh
TS1
yeah,
was FNAF 1, TS2 was FNAF 2, TS3 was FNAF 3, and it would have kept going if I had kept writing for it.
yeah,
But so the for example the Freddy Fazbear you interacted with in TS2 was actually Toy Freddy, not regular Freddy, and things like that.
oh yeah,
Which is why Foxy is it wasn't all pronouns user then because in that point in the story for Toy Bonnie it would have been Toy Foxy who then becomes Mangle, but it hadn't happened yet.
yeah,
Things like that. So yeah, time stream because of all the shit coming
yeah.
together for. But I do love that it has the same acronym as like the show. You could have
Yeah,
done the show,
the
all
show,
that and stuff like that.
transmission. It works as the
And
same thing.
transmission. Yeah, and transmission too. Yeah.
So yeah, these in Time Stream, we didn't really see them again until like Time Stream 2, where the fox was hanging out with the puppet and all that jazz, you know. Anyways, there was the error page, and then after, I don't remember like how we got to that. But then we found the Foxy fan club, Bonnie's bass guitar, which is just a random website. It's fun, it's goofy. It was just like a little Easter egg. Um, I don't remember how we got to it, but pretty much Mangle took over Ima's body, and we didn't realize it as we were talking on Discord. Me and Bella were just
It was so fun.
oh, you must have felt like amazing because we were just chatting on Discord while the like website and Twitter was being updated, and then we got an answer to a question that we asked on Discord with Twitter, and we were like, "Holy shit, that's Mangle." And then it was just this wild goose chase of us just asking random questions. The funniest thing, we asked if it knew
Was it
about the Madion, yeah.
the Madian? Yeah,
And
the
then he said,
Madian question.
"Who?
Who?
Who?"
God, that exchange was so funny.
Oh god, that's probably the best like all-time top 5 to the show moments. Mangle asking who about Madion. Oh, that's goofy as hell.
Oh my
Um
God.
yeah, so we had a conversation, in-character conversation with Mangle, which is the coolest fucking thing. Then they got control of the website and, weird glitch things happen. Pre-save link to Take Me Apart, that's when that was rolling out. And then the proctors, I'm guessing,
Yep.
because okay, cool. The proctors got a back hold of the website, reprogrammed it, and then Mangle found her own little cove. And in this little cove, they set up a chat room so we could talk more. And we talked more with Mangle about lore stuff, about what they do, how is he doing. It's great. It's one of like the coolest thing I think I've ever been a part of. Um, and I've shown it a bit before in one of the M mixes. In lore wise, I'm going out of well, I don't know if I can go out of character, but the way I explained it is that I got a USB from the mail, with a letter that had pink scribbles on it from Mangle, and that had two remixes. Um, One of Vela Space's "That's Okay," and one of my song Chatterbox. And
Mm.
that's again coolest thing. Just yeah, in character remixes too. Fuck it. Cuz I mean, they were in your body. They had access to Reaper. 15 minutes apparently if I remember correctly.
That's not a joke, by the way. The It's Okay remix, from what I witnessed from the ethereal plane or whatever, it was really fast. It was literally minutes before the stream went live for
Hell
the set.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, I forgot to mention Mangle did do a DJ set in Ima's body and it was chaos and I love the visual aesthetic of that. It felt like the cover art of Take Me Apart. And
Mhm.
that's the coolest fucking thing. So yeah, that's why I like Mangle so much because developed and hung out with the character itself, and then you know the remixes, and it's just all together really. I don't know what to say other than thank you because Jesus Christ, you made that character for me.
I'm so happy to hear that. And to be candid, it's I've always loved like ARG stuff, and I don't want to. I tried not to, because when you're doing an ARG, you don't talk about the fact you're doing an ARG. That's like against the rule of it. Is
Yeah.
but we're kind of out of it now. Like, not to say I won't go back to it, and I definitely will.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
right,
every AMA project has one. I mean, well, has
um,
some degrees of an ARG to it.
oh for sure. I mean, yeah, even 123 had one. It was pretty rough, but it did have one. But yeah, no, I love like interesting ways of narrative storytelling and just doing cool shit. And specifically to talk about like the Mangle remixes, I if I had more time, when I have more time, I want to do more stuff like that, and I want to give other characters more personality. I kind of recognize that Mangle is the only one that got real out
Yeah.
of character stuff, which is makes sense. They're really cool and really fun to personalize. But I just haven't had time to do others. But I've wanted to do covers, like with other characters, like of songs, for example, like in character for other characters, or write songs in character that would be released in subtle or like hidden ways out of character. Not necessarily like on Spotify, but like in hidden parts of the internet and things like that. And it's all things I want to do. It's all things I want to do still, when I have time or when I can. But I've even wanted to like, if things happen the way that they would be cool, would just be like doing a feature as like Bonnie or as Foxy on like a
Ooh,
song, like
yeah.
completely unrelated to me or to the show necessarily. Maybe on like a FNAF like song, like for someone else, like a nerdcore song or something, but like play the character doing a feature. Again, I try to blend the fiction and reality a bit. I think it's fun. I just think it's fun, and
Yeah.
it comes back to the ARG stuff. I just love like interconnectedness of all that, and like and just like the puzzles and like the letting you guys solve stuff and like having y'all play along. Even if it was just like a few really dedicated people, which I really appreciate you all for indulging me in all that. It was just so fun to like kind of play like Dungeon Master a little bit.
Yeah, it was really fun participating in like checking the websites every week or so to like check on the updates, and then like okay, so you know when Fortnite used to do like consistent map updates?
Yeah,
It felt like that. It
and
felt like
that's definitely an inspiration too. Absolutely.
yeah, it was it's great. I know if if you had more time to do it and you planned it more out, I feel like you could have done more like character moments other than Mangle and Bonnie. Because yeah, Bonnie, Radio, Transmission One with Gay Jazz, where people put in their own music and then that got played through the radio, which Bonnie reacted to. Very cool, by the way. Holy shit.
That was fun. That was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, and Chica made an appearance. That was fun too.
And Chica, yeah, the few moments she popped up.
She
Sadly.
exists on the album.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
we could
Again.
go. Oh,
Yeah. All I was gonna say, sorry, is just like, God, I wish I didn't have a year to do this album. I wish I had more time. And I love what it is, and it really is beautiful, especially just like the album, like bar none. But like, God, if I had like another year to build out all the world and stuff like that, oh my God, it would be so
Yeah.
cool. And not to say that, and I realize that like this isn't the end, and like this is really just the start of like the things I want to do. Even if I am gonna take a bit of a break and like figure out what exactly all that means. But like, if I could have launched like every single with like a Mango level event or more, honestly, I could have done.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have done more, even for Mango, which I thought was like near perfect. Like I think I could have done so much more. I wanted to do IRL stuff. I wanted to like hang up like posters. I even wanted to like get a bunch of balloons and like attach like a pre-saved QR code to them and just like hang them around my city and town
Oh,
and
oh,
stuff. I thought that would be so
oh,
cute.
oh.
It'd be kind of expensive, but God, it would have been cool, and just like done stuff like that. I will say, and I don't know what my plan is for this or when this will happen. Again, all of this, everything's in flux because I'm trying to take a break after this, but I do want to do to the show physical copies, specifically CDs, and I want to do on top of that a special edition CD that comes with some physical trinkets and things like that. That'll be like lore pieces,
Oh.
like. I don't want to say what yet. I don't even know entirely what yet for everything, but I have ideas of just like little things that are lore characters and that are related to the album and related to ARG stuff. That I just think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to have some like physical items from this narrative that I was trying to tell.
Emma, you have me shaking my fist when you said that. Oh my!
I know you do.
You
I know I did.
you know how like dedicated I am to the ARG, and you know how much I like CDs. So putting them both together, oh my
Yeah.
God!
And it's just something I wanted to do for a while because like I love physical media. I don't collect it enough, especially in terms of CDs and stuff like that. But I love like merch and things like that, and creative merch especially. Like when it's just something cool. Trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, even things like the Nurture vinyl, like limited thing. I'd love to do like an art book, or I want to do a booklet at some point of like art from the project, and things like that. There's a lot of ideas I have. Again, it's gonna just take time, and I just
Yeah.
had an album. I had an album to finish, frankly.
I'm-
Like I haven't gotten around to everything that I've wanted to do, but it will happen in time. No.
I'm begging you, please take a break.
Well, okay. Well, I need to find a job.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
I find a job, then I can do that for a bit, and then I can get back on the train a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, not that I won't be plotting everything at the very
Yeah.
least, even if I'm not actively working on it yet.
the schemer, the plotter,
The schemer, the plotter.
schemer. Okay, I don't want to say this out loud because it's a big spoiler for something I want to do when I start rolling the big one out. You,
Uh-huh. I know.
I'm
Yeah.
going to type it out on Discord.
Okay.
Because I want, actually, you know, I'll save it till after the recording because
Okay. Yeah.
okay, cool. It's a neat case of parallel thinking, and I want to like blurt it out, but it's also like big spoiler.
That's fair.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what do I have any more lore related questions that like I want to ask? Oh, actually, okay, good question. How long did it take you to plan it all? Like, for the stuff you had out for the plan, ARG wise, how long did that take you, and how
Oh
hard
god.
was it?
Um, I will say a lot of it came together in the moment.
I,
Things like the character possession thing was just sort of like literally like spur of the moment, like, oh wait, this is a fun idea. What if I do this? And the DJ set was like planned like that day. Again, the remix literally came together 10 minutes before the set. Like a lot of this stuff is on the fly. Some stuff is planned, of course, like the Cove.
the
Um,
Cove.
and other things which are building slowly in the background that you may have gathered hints of, but don't
Hmm.
have any more information on right now. Um,
Yeah.
that is slowly building. That's something I'm trying to figure out more, is to build out things more slowly and not rush into things. Um, but yeah, yeah,
Huh.
figuring that out.
I, I I feel like with some moments it was like really neat. Well, neat. Okay, words. Get them out correctly. You basically had like a lore moment for each song. Well, each single, except for Hooked, because Hooked was like released 12 hours before the album released.
Well, that has its own thing, but that's not. Anyway,
Huh? Ah,
don't worry about
shit. Well, I mean, there was that whole live stream. I don't know how much lore related that was. I tried looking at the website. There wasn't much there. I may have.
it. It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I gathered. Um,
But also in some ways not. But that is
ah,
for people to discover on their own if they do. I don't know.
shaking
It's
my
not. It's not
fist.
necessarily album important.
Yeah, I mean, with Night Guard specifically, you had the vote of whether
Yeah,
Henry
I
Ronald
forgot about the vote.
would survive. For context, this was like there was this special page where basically like every 20 there was like countdowns, whether they
Yeah,
be days or hours or whatever.
the
um
branch. Yeah.
the branch, you got like little pages. We got a character page for Bonnie. I don't know if we got more for any other characters, sadly.
Mm.
Yeah, but we got that. We also had the transmission one stuff. Then we had the decision, where we learned about Henry Ronald basically almost fucking up, and we had to
Well,
do some.
He did fuck up.
Well, he did fuck up, but we basically had to save him. And in indomitable human spirit be damned, we saved him.
True that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then that ended up influencing Nog's track on Night Guard, which I wanted to do something like that. I really wanted to have like character, or I guess people participation that would then lead to like ripples in the album. I always thought that would be really fun.
Yeah, that
I
was
kind of
cool
wish I
as
did it.
fuck.
I kind of wish I did it closer to the release of Night Guard, but also I needed to influence his writing for the song, so I was like, I kind of need to get this ahead of time. Um, so I can make sure that he doesn't. I mean, he could have already rewritten stuff. Obviously, we could have made it work. But yeah,
It's really it was really neat. It's there's like words hard to describe. There's a lot of special things you did with this project that it's going to influence me in ways that you might see coming, you may not. I don't really know, but
fair enough.
I love the rollout of this album and what you did with it. It was I could like I separate my enjoyment of the rollout from the album itself. That's how good it is. It feels like its
Hey, fair
own
enough.
separate project, and it's that
Which it,
good.
which it kind of was, to be fair. I
Oh
really
yeah.
think about it. I really think about it, and like, I don't know. A lot of the ARG stuff like isn't FNAF connected. That's just like other influences for real. Like, the only thing that's like directly like website and FNAF connected is like to the show's one image thing, which I stole from ScottGames.com, which I thought would be a fun motif to keep.
It was
Because
fun.
if you know ScottGames.com, was like a website that Scott owned for a while, and it would just have one image. It could be a teaser, it could be like an announcement for a book or something like that, but always one image. It was never anything more. And I did stretch that a little bit, but mostly just kept it to the one image because I was like, this is a fun motif and it's a reference to FNAF, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. And it challenged me in other ways because I had to like figure out how to work around that, which was fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest moments with the to the show dot com, not dot card, was
Important
the
distinction.
yeah, important distinction because one's lore related, one's not, but it's also kind of lore related.
Yeah, true.
Um, you hid teasers specifically. One of the
Hmm.
biggest ones was related to Mangle, where Vela Space brightened up the image where it was talking about the genres of each of the tracks and saw a mangled version of Chat Online. Me and him both knew
Right.
what that was, went to the cove, and
Because the chat was
God,
offline at that point,
yeah,
because of uh, lore, proctors, whatever.
lore, proctors, yippee!
Something like that.
We they're in, once you've done all of the lore, you need to do like a long Tumblr post, long red,
No, no, no,
basically
no. You all need to do that. I did all the
videos.
work. You all have to write up
Yeah.
the wiki. That's your
Oh,
job.
not the oh god, not the video essay. Oh shit. Now I gotta make the 2 hour, two of the show video essay on Mangle. Jesus Christ.
If that ever happens, I'll cry.
I might do it honestly. You don't tempt me.
Hey,
Um,
fair enough.
so while we're talking about lore, my last question about the lore, that's not really lore related. It's more about, hey, what's your favorite moment of it? Like you
Ooh.
did,
Oh gosh, I need to
whether
think about that.
whether that be an event or just a piece of lore. Like what was your favorite bit of it?
Go well if you're talking that. That could go really granular. But
Mm,
Mangle is great. Mangle is definitely like the highlight of that for me. I need to really think about this. I don't want to just blurt out an answer.
yeah.
Really, hmm, God, jeez. There's a
Yeah.
lot of cool stuff in the album too. That's like fun, like lore.
I
But
mean, I want to ask, but I don't know if it's right. Fuck it. We've already talked about a lot. I mentioned it an hour ago
uh-huh.
with the hidden track on the album,
Mm,
track 25. Is that binary? Like, well, no, not my binary. Morse code.
it
That
is. Yes,
fuck. I'm gonna have to translate that.
that you are.
You know what I'm doing?
Or
Well,
someone is.
I'm not gonna do that tomorrow. I gotta pack, but
Fair. You
I
and Space can do it together.
yeah, we'll be doing that. Um,
Yes, it is.
yippee.
Yeah, sorry.
Very,
I know it's inconvenient.
yeah, it's inconvenient, but I'll still do it. Someone's got to.
It's true.
Ah, man, I can't believe it's only been an hour. It feels like 10 minutes. We
Yeah.
we could just shoot the shit for like 18 more, I guess. Because
I'll do whatever.
actually we still have questions from Discord. Now,
That is true. Yeah, you have Discord and you have Twitter.
yeah, I asked it on Instagram and Twitter. We didn't get any Instagram responses, sadly, and we got a one Twitter
Damn.
response that actually got asked in Discord as well. Let me pull it
Oh,
up.
word. Okay. Cool.
Um,
I actually muted the Discord, so I didn't know what the messages were. So I'm excited.
smart. Okay, so besides FNAF, do you have any other inspirations for this album, bands, songs, and artists? Because there's a lot of variety for this, like, song, well, album.
I'd actually say a lot of the album isn't FNAF. I'd say, I mean, obviously there's some like FNAF. I mean, okay, well, but obviously there's a lot of influence from FNAF. I mean, like FNAF artists. Like the only songs I can really say were like influenced by like I don't know, the Living Tombstone or JT Music would be like We Are FNAF and Night
Mm-hmm.
Guard. I'd say, obviously a lot of Porter, some underscores, Violet Pony. Obviously that's the
Oh
big one.
yeah, we could.
We could talk about that forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I could talk about that forever, of course. Yeah, those are probably my biggest ones. I'm trying to think of more off the top of my head, but yeah, no, definitely Violet. But I don't think that surprises nobody if you know me, even like remotely. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's definitely something definitely inspired. Oh, I mean, I could really go like song by song, but like Show and Tell was inspired a bit by Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter because I was watching the Coachella live stream.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
remember.
my friend said something, or my friend Cherry mentioned how she wanted to do pop at some point. And originally that was going to be a more proper collab between the two of us. But some stuff, just timing didn't pan out. They were moving. But the intro vocal is still from them, which is cool. So at least they made it in subtly. But yeah, so that song was sort of not written in collaboration with, but written in mind with Cherry. And there is like a few original verses out there that aren't FNAF related, but are just like original, which are fun. And then obviously, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I could really go on and
Yeah.
on. There's a lot of inspirations. And then of course in like ARG terms, there's like the big ones like Marble Hornets is definitely an influence, especially with things like Foxy Fan Club. Um, just like being an alternate source of information for the story.
Yeah.
ARG wise, I'm blanking for some reason, even though I love them and I should know these off the top of my head. um, I don't know. Just think of any ARG that has website integration. There's
Website
probably a dozen.
integration.
Um,
Um, I mean, there was like
I sh-
there's like Lost. There's the well, I mean,
True.
Lost. There was. I mean,
Blair Witch Project. I'm
Blair Witch
trying to think. There's definitely
Project. The
there's like a big one I'm forgetting, and I feel stupid because I
yeah,
love this stuff.
it's the one with
Um,
like the like the Slurpee almost kind of thingy. That was kind of like a big part of it.
oh
Um,
god.
it was
There's
I three movies about it. I forgot the name of it. It's like a trilogy, and it's like all kind of horror, but also kind of ARG alternate reality bullshit.
I was gonna say like the oh god, Cloverfield maybe.
Cloverfield, yes, yes,
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield for sure. What is it? There's the one. Oh, I'm forgetting. It's the Adult Swim one. It's like this video is not about a bear or something like that.
I don't think I've
Where
heard of that one.
it has like a website integration thing that has like a little game. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But basically, there's like a million. I love just like weird story narrative things. I wanted this was never going to happen in the time frame I had, of course. I wanted to develop a little game for this project. I didn't know exactly what that would entail, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do like a little like RPG thing.
Aw.
Maybe that'll happen one day. I don't know. I've wanted to build a deck builder FNAF game, like fan
Ooh.
game. I don't know anything about game design. This isn't like I'm not proposing this
Yeah.
as like I'm gonna do this soon, but
Yeah.
maybe one day if I decide to get up my if I decide to hop off Reaper for a minute, I can train the skill and maybe start
Uh,
doing things. Anyway,
yeah. Speaking of like genres, did you completely like? Was it supposed to be like filled with this much variety, or was it just how it came to be?
absolutely. I was very inspired by um, I'm just gonna say it again, Violet Pony.
Mm-hmm.
And from the start, this was always going to be a super varied project. I always knew that. I mean, Forever and Ever is like the first song, or one of, I think it is the first song written for the project, and it's like very, like sad ballady, which is very different from what I did. And then even in that same time frame, I had things like Want to Say Thank You, which was very like housey. Oh god, don't play music off my phone, please. But then even like a month or two later was like Considerations, which is like still kind of ballady, but then kind of IDM-y. I don't know, I could go on like down the list,
Yeah.
but and then Even Birds Gotta Eat, which is much more like, that, and then even things like Stages Set came like not far after, which is like metal, which is way different than everything
Yeah.
else. So yeah, no, there being a huge amount of variety was always going to be a big staple of the project. That's something because again, like I said, I wanted there to be something for everyone to sort of grab from it.
I
The
mean,
grab bag.
with like the series of FNAF itself. Oh, there was so many different eras, time frames. Like the animatronics are so much like there's so much different styles. Yeah, of course this project was going to be filled with variety, and I also saw that Violet Pony mentioned from a mile away.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, Carousel, I don't shut up about Carousel enough, which is
Not, you're
But-
so real for that, honestly. I need to
Carousel,
revisit.
and I'll say this, and there's none of this is to idolize like Violet Pony herself, because
Yeah.
she doesn't like that, which is fair because I don't know, it's weird to do that, but her work definitely, especially on Carousel, is just very, it's just a great progression. It's a great concept album. It's my favorite concept album probably, just in terms of what it did, and just the amount of detail in it. It's just very strong, and then just hearing like the cohesiveness through her work, like in the her most recent project, Girls Who Are Wizards, and specifically the last track, in the she uses like leitmotifs in like a row basically, and that like I was like, this is basically my end game. This is cool as shit. I was like,
Yeah.
because I was like, I know all these projects, I know what you're referencing in all these. This is so cool. So there's like a little bit of that, and there's a little bit of that building. there's some there's some like oh god, what's the word? I don't want to say like producer tags, but there's like sounds that are in every song that references a character. Like Foxy has a sound that's in every song that Foxy like stars in, which if you
Yeah.
listen out for, there's things like that, like where it's like you'll hear basically like leitmotifs, but instead of being like a melody specifically, it's like a sound. Although there are leitmotifs too. There's a leitmotif for to the show as a whole, which is I don't know. Maybe I'll let you figure that out, but it's there if you listen for
Hmm.
it.
More stuff for me to find. I don't mind. Um, let's see. Now we're getting into like let's talk about FNAF specifically.
Okay,
What was your very
sure.
first exposure to it?
Oh God. Yeah, no, that's the Markiplier FNAF 1 video. I was there day one. Um,
Dude, don't get me started. I like when the Scott game, like the FNAF Scott Games Twitter was just reposting videos and it brought up the
I
first
know.
one. I decided to watch it and my
I
God.
know. So did I. No, I watched it. So I was like, I saw. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this. 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
I was like, um, but yeah, no, I've been there since day one. I've watched every trailer. I've seen everything. I remember when Springtrap was salvage and things like that. It's yeah, no, it's and like everything in between. I remember FNAF World being a game you had to buy for
Oh,
$10 because on day one it was, and then everyone hated it, and he made it free. Which honestly, FNAF World's great, and everyone should play it. I think it's overhated. I love that game. That's but anyway, um, yeah, no, I played all of it. Um, I mean, you've seen
yeah.
the letter I posted on
Yeah,
my
the big
on
old
my
letter.
website.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of exposure in all of this, little bit of skin in the game for sure.
Yeah. It's I don't know how to word this. I didn't have much of like a connection to FNAF as I think my peers did. And I mean, you compared to you, yeah, I don't have as much of an attachment to it, but I still enjoyed the project as much as I did. I love it to death, even if I think I enjoyed it as more as an album than a tribute to FNAF, which I I have conflicted feelings about that because it's supposed to be a tribute project, but
No, no,
it's
no. That's totally fair. Again, I said this earlier. I didn't expect everyone to get it. I didn't expect everyone to be in the same headspace that I am about it
yeah,
all, and that's fine. And there are songs that mean things to me outside of the realm of FNAF, like Considerations in Pirates Cove, A Child's Dream, even things like Cry, Hooked, obviously.
yeah,
Um, and there's like some fun, just like FNAF bangers too, like 20% off, or
Night
even Birds
Guard,
Gotta Eat, and yeah, or even like Night Guard, that are more FNAF, but are still just like fun,
yeah,
that necessarily aren't like tied to my personal life like some of them are.
yeah,
So I wanted there to be nuance in that. Like you can find what you want out of it. It means something to me, and it'll mean something different to other people, and that's true with any project you release.
yeah.
Like I
That's
know something like Carousel doesn't mean the same thing to me as it does to Violet, or to you, or to Panna, or to, you know, anyone else who experiences it. Like you'll find your own meaning in anything, and that's
yeah.
true with any art.
I mean, you've been. I mean, we can talk about Love Bearer.
We can, if you'd
Biggest,
like.
yeah, fuck it, might as well. Biggest, I think the biggest, like, example of this is with Love Bearer. It reminded me of my grandma's passing. And even though that's not what the song is about at all, it's not. It reminded me of her, but it was, yeah, I I felt it in completely different ways. Hell, I felt this is not related to Love Bear or what like Violet or any like past mentions, but Porter Robinson as
Uh-huh.
well. Um, I felt the same way with like Easier to Love You.
Right, and you were gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really hit me in the way that it. I don't. Yeah, it didn't hit me in the way it was supposed to. Like I'm putting quotation marks because songs aren't really meant
Right.
to do that. But yeah, it hit me in a way, and I'm happy that I'm able to find my own bits of meaning. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, fifth grade band. Yeah,
Right.
it's beautiful in its own
Absolutely.
unique way. Um, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and it's interesting, and maybe this isn't a question you want to answer, and that's fine too. But I know you had a specific reaction to a child's dream, and I'm curious about it. But that's not my place to
I
interrogate you on it if you
I'm
don't have an answer.
it. I wish I could answer that question. I
It's
genuinely
fair.
do, but I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those songs where I think it. It's one of those songs where it means a lot, but I can't name the meaning. If that
It's
makes
fair.
any sense. Like I
No,
can
absolutely.
tell its importance, and I know, like I can subconsciously tell what it means to me, but just won't pop up. And I don't
Fair.
know if it
Yeah.
ever will, but it will forever hold a special place in my heart.
And I get that too. No, yeah.
Yeah, fun times. Um, Stupid questions abound.
Huh?
Um, do you think you could survive 5 nights at Freddy's? Like, same situation as the night guard. You're in there for 5 nights, 6 hours, doing all the same shit. Would you be able to do it?
I think I could do. Hmm. See, I don't know. I've been thinking about it, because I've been seeing the 6 real-time nights or six
Oh
real-time
yeah.
hours where they do it in like real time, and I think I find that so interesting because there's two ways that it's done. It's either like the AI is the same and they like come at the same pace and things like that, so it's more of a test of like kind of mechanical skill, and then there's the one where they go sort of in real time what they would in relation to what the game is, which is more of a test of like patience and like not getting bored and forgetting to
Yeah.
check things, which I find that infinitely more like not terrifying but just difficult. Because I could do the mechanical skill thing and just like keep track of everything, but to I don't know, sit there for 6 hours and like
Yeah.
know that something's after you. I don't know. That's so much more difficult.
Yeah,
So I think,
there's two versions of the game. There's the version of like the 6 hour waiting version, and then they have just like the real time animations and like regular
yeah,
speed.
uh huh.
Hmm.
So, so to answer your question though, I think, oh man, I think FNAF 1 I could do. I think I could do FNAF 1. FNAF 2 would be a lot harder. But although if it was realistic, I could just wind the music box with the mask up and then flash the flashlight, so I'd be fine. FNAF
Yeah.
3, um, I might fold because I'm scared of Springtrap. He would kill my ass.
Oh, dude,
Uh,
same.
dealing with like faulty technology, like with the the
Mm-hmm.
lure, the audio lore. There, I couldn't say that. Would be hard. But at 4, I'm not a child. I'm immune to nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Just, um, anyway, we don't need to go through all of them. But
Yeah.
so comes and goes. Pretends that depending on the
Depend.
situation, potentially,
Yeah.
I think I could.
Depending on the game, I don't think I could. I'm gonna be honest.
Fair.
Yeah, no. I mean, the one game I think I could do would be like Security Breach, but then again, that's very out
Fair.
there. It's not
Uh-huh.
really, yeah.
I will say, sister location, the Funtime Auditorium with fucking Funtime Foxy could not do that shit.
Yeah,
Could not
same.
do that shit.
Oh,
The flare in the dark, fuck no.
oh
Good lord,
yeah.
no, that would fuck me over. I'd be so dead.
There's the interview that Scott did, right, with Dr. O.
Yeah.
In VR, did not do it. Nope.
I know, I couldn't. I know.
I
No,
would've.
yeah. God, no, that shit's terrifying. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Um, Now, ignoring the job aspect of it, if you were just um, like, let's just say, yeah, let's just say adult you, right now.
Mhm.
If you could try and time travel back to any iteration of the pizzeria, what would it be? Which one?
Oh. Um, what, like a night or just like the visit?
Either or. You can spend a night, you can visit, whatever you want.
Um, ooh. I want to say FNAF 2. I just feel like that's the one I'm like the most nostalgic for, like in my own life. Like if I could go and like see that, and just like walk around it,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like grab a slice and
Grab a
just be like,
slice, yeah.
yeah, yeah, this is cool. I mean, FNAF 1 also is like pretty close behind because those are like my homies. Also, I probably wouldn't see Foxy if it was during the day at FNAF 2, so that's like kind
Yeah.
of sad. I don't really care. I mean, I care for the mangle, obviously,
Yeah.
but torn to shreds, I'd be like, oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
I'd say probably FNAF 2. I like that pizzeria, and I have good memories role playing in the Roblox in the map of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we gotta play sometime. It would be fun. I We're at the end, minute and a half. Well, not a minute and a half. Jesus, no, an hour and a half. A couple last questions. What have you been listening to really recently outside of your own music? Because I know you've been
Um,
revisiting your own.
of course, yeah. Goes to look at my playlist just to make sure. Obviously Violet Pony. I've been listening to that new project, uh, Girls Who Are Wizards, the new Spencer album, A Moment to Pivot On, which you should listen to if you haven't. It's very good. The new Paul Robinson album, Smile,
Mm-hmm.
which was really good. I think I still prefer Nurture at the moment, but I've still been listening to it a bunch. I still love it. I think just
Yeah.
nothing's really going to top Nurture for me in terms of just like what it meant to me at the time, but I still really appreciate Smile and what it is. Um, New Flash in the Pan by Jane Remover. Ozzo Knox's fucking surprise album out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh.
And I've been revisiting some FNAF music too. The Try Hard Ninja just dropped a new song, "Drop Into the Pit," which interpolates "Follow Me," which was what I then made a remix of earlier today. So that's what inspired that kind of. But yeah, I've been revisiting some old FNAF music because it's nostalgic, and it was the 10th anniversary. I was like, "Fuck, sure, why not?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's probably most of it. New Sizzy album, which is less new now, but still
Yeah.
has that. Yeah, this is. Yeah, that's probably most of what I've been listening to as of like the last week or two.
Yeah. It's fun. With my opinions on like Smile, I do. I love Smile as a project. Like, I don't think I'll come back for like a couple songs. I've changed my mind on like, hey, I don't think I'll ever revisit it like one song. I've come
Fair.
back to Perfect Pinterest Garden so much. I don't understand the hate of that. Well,
I
that
don't hate
song.
it. I need to visit it more. I think I listened to it like twice and I was like, this is fine. I think if I gave it more time, I'd probably appreciate it more.
Yeah, I
But
love
I've
the.
been I've been appreciating the latter half of the album, which I know is like the part everyone likes, but the Easier to Love You to Everything to Me run is just really strong in my
Yeah.
eyes, especially Easier to Love You and Everything to Me and Mona Lisa, which are the
Mm-hmm.
three of the four songs I just said.
Yeah.
but Mona Lisa and Everything to Me especially, I've been rotating a lot. I really like those ones specifically.
Opinions on Year of the Cup. I'm asking because I'm curious because I know that one's also divisive. I like it. I as a concept I like it. I don't know how much I like it as a song itself. I don't revisit it often, but when I listen to it in the album, it's good. I like it.
It's cool. I love the production. I think people hate on the samples. I think it's fine. Honestly, it's doing what it has to. And I know that some people just like Porter for his like production, which obviously same. But I think he was really trying to go for a specific thing. The messages of the song, I've never like. I'm still sober, where I am in life, so it's not something I've had to deal with like in that specific realm. Like obviously I've dealt with like other things, but
Mm-hmm.
um, but um, so I do like it. I don't necessarily have like a connection to it, um, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a good song. Definitely think it's underrated on the project.
All right. And last serious question. You just want to shout out some people, like local artists, other small artists that you want to just shout out?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I could go through a few. I want to shout out first my partner Panna, who, well, did all of the visual aesthetic stuff for the album, pretty much except the cover, which I did. But like all the cover art, and like a lot of the website art and stuff like that was basically all Panna. They are incredibly talented. It draws really good. It draws
Yeah,
really good. Um, and commissions are open. You should commission them because it is super
please.
cool. Yeah, and it needs money. So yeah, so that's traditional artists. Obviously they're my partner, so I'm biased, but love them to
Obviously.
death, and they're great. Bonnie is incredibly has been incredibly helpful with this project, as I've talked about before, and does really cool Dario Core adjacent things, and is branching out a bit, and it's really cool to see them flourishing. Yeah, so check out their stuff. And yeah, Bella Space, obviously, we just put out, or uh, he just put out his album, Way Home, and then I've on the third track, which is right after Dreaming, which is my favorite song of one of my favorite songs of last year, which is still surreal to me. But Bella Space is incredibly talented and is performing live in a few days. Obviously, you'll miss it by the time this is up. But
Yeah.
super super cool, and I'm really happy to see them grow. There's also this little indie artist, M Key. I think
Oh
M
my
Key is super
God.
cool and is starting to grow into a great musician,
Aw.
and it's really cool to see them starting to flourish.
Hmm.
And then Spencer, Raymond. Obviously, we've been talking about
Yeah.
this whole time, but please listen to Moment to Pivot On. It's a really great acoustic project. I really like Raymond specifically. That's probably my favorite song, but the whole project is incredible. Um, I should probably stop rambling,
It's
but
fine.
yeah, there's a small smattering of people that are close to me that I cherish.
Yippee. Okay. Last question. Probably the most important question.
Oh boy.
What's your Jimmy John's order?
Jimmy Johnson. Oh, good question. So I get. Oh, I always forget the name. So I've got it's the country club for a while, and that was good. So that's it's turkey, ham, provolone, lettuce, tomato, mayo,
Ooh.
which is a pretty solid order. I've ended up subbing out the ham. I'm just not a big ham person, which
Mhm.
is now it's just like a classic instead of like a favorite. I don't know the name of it, but it's something else. But yeah, so it's usually turkey, provolone, lettuce, tomato, and mayo, which is usually what I get. And I usually just get the sandwich. I don't usually get like chips or anything. Sometimes if they give me a free cookie with like my rewards or whatever, I'll take that. But I don't usually buy anything else because I'm a
Yeah.
cheapskate.
It it's really interesting. I've never eaten at a Jimmy John's, and I just asked that mostly because of the Jimmy John's Anthocon song.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah,
It's a good point. I always forget about her. She's there,
it's
but she's fun.
goofy. All
One day
right.
I'll get that to streaming maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Just an hour and a half of pure rambling about FNAF, Fortnite, and music. Hell yeah. I'm
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you for talking with me. It was great.
Of course. Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yippee.